Well, we're back in the running. So I've got about 45 minutes here, or a little less, and we'll carry on. Hi to my friends in Romania I just talked with, and they've got a young daughter there, and the whole family's getting into Raw there, and it's a really amazing to see everybody around the world taking this on and writing in it. She's doing better, and you just keep working your programs until you just you're clean and green. That's all I can tell you. There's not always a flag out there that says I'm clean and green, but you can always do X-rays or ultrasounds or something like that. The problem with the X-rays and stuff, you're a little more toxic to you. But you really want to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going until it becomes so much part of a lifestyle that when you decide to step back just a little bit, you don't step back too far. And that's the part of the problems that we all face. Is sometimes you step back and you step back a little more and you step back a little more, and then you find yourself having to pull yourself all the way back, and so it can get that way sometimes. But it's a thrill to be with you guys. I hope Chris is now getting them up from this morning, and we'll just keep on going down the line here, because as you see, I got quite a bit of questions of yours to answer. I'm going to do my best. Matter of fact, talk about how everything works. This case was about Crohn's, and here we go. The first one up for Jaws is about Crohn's. I think the Crohn's disease has caused some scarring in my gut over the time. Possibly, this is all about acids, so can cause scarring. You see this a lot in women where actually the uterus gets welded basically to the colon. It's what acids do, So it's possible. Possible with that. Even the fruits get stuck. That's the problem with Crohn's, is that the swelling can be so intense that you have a very small canal to move through. I think I did comment on the fact that I had a Fox News broadcaster's wife one time, and boy, you wouldn't believe the amount of. I think I had her on number 5, if I remember right. I had her on 15 number 5s 3 or 4 times a day. Plus, I think I used Christopher's. Would be the same thing as Richard's number 2, which is a straight up laxative, and I had her on several of those to be able to move her. That's just to have movement. So it can get swelling and stuff like that, but hang in there, Jaws. You'll be all right. You just keep getting those fruit down there and moving that lymph. What we see in the iris is, let's say you have a lot of sulfur around that bowel ring. We see that sulfur over years and years and years, the body trying to pull it to the lymph nodes. So even though we see mucus in the stools and things, it becomes obvious that the body, even from the bowel wall's perspective, pulls that lymph toward the lymph nodes, so those acids can be somewhat neutralized. Drew was just telling me that he was going through some detox and got a lot of mucus in the urine, but his urine burned. And I said, well, it could have been the acids from the kidneys and bladder themselves. Generally, with good bacterium in the lymph nodes, we don't have that hot of acid hitting the kidneys. But and I'm not sure, but I suppose even cell waste from the kidneys have to hit a lymph node. Got to be able to break down these acids to a certain degree. Can't expect the body to absorb them vascularly. You can't, you have to realize there has to be some elimination of acids in the human body, and there has to be some buffering mechanism to this. And bacteria is a good buffering mechanism, because that's a mechanism that the septic tanks get. Bacterium is the modus operandi on this planet for sewage. So that is possible there, my friend. That's why I've had my yeah, it is. I think juice fasting might do good now. Yeah, that's a good point. I think you're right on. What I like about a lot of you guys is you have common sense. And that's what you're demonstrating to me right now here, Josh. And that's the thing, common sense. You just step back and I don't like to use the word think things out. These are little expressions because sometimes thought gets in the way of itself, and you have to use consciousness or awareness to overview, because only awareness can overview. Is what we were talking about earlier this morning. So this is another thing that I like about you guys. A lot of you got great common sense, and that's what life is, just common sense. And we've made it into such a unexplainable scientific mess that none of that is appropriate. It just has lost man even deeper in the woods. We've got that way spiritually. We got that way in our physical sciences, and now it's a mess. And I was just, every time I hear that embryo commercial, I just look at the FDA in total disgust. When you're any drug that has the potential to be fatal, and any drug that demonstrates, what about 1% of the people that try a drug die from it? 1%, probably acceptable. Maybe what's acceptable? FDA 2, 3, 4, 5% people die from the drug. But what if one person dies from an herb? See, this is where the corruption begins, and the obvious lunacy of that whole thing begins. And so we have to correct some of that. Now, I haven't seen this icon here. Sneak Tip. This is RAJCE89. Where are nasal polyps? In the nasal. You get them up in the sinus cavities up in there, and just consider nasal polyps, nasal tumors. Consider any expression like that to be a tumor. Little boils and pimples. You could call it a big pimple up in there if you wanted to, but all come from the same fluids, have the same cellular waste in them, and they all stink. It's all the lymph system. It's all about acids and proteins. And, when you're not moving your sinuses, when you're not moving lymph, after a while, you're going to see it backing up, and the body will isolate these expressions to keep these acids from damaging tissue too much. It's just like a storage pocket. If you look at a tumor or a cyst as a storage pocket, and you need to find a way to open up that pocket, because the body will open it up. I don't think we give the body due respect for its own abilities, and I think this is true. You see this a lot in the medical world, where they don't give true alliance and power to the human body. Even the European medical doctors were a little smarter in that way, but universally you're seeing a very low understanding of the human body, the laws of nature, and the true laws of chemistry and physics as applied to health and vitality. And I had a physicist in the other day. Guy was almost, 90-some years old as a physicist. But when I kind of stretched him to quantum physics, kind of stretched him out a bit, and especially getting into the intelligences of magnetics and energy, he couldn't go there, which is pretty interesting. But I wrote him to that point anyway. All right, did I answer your question? Yeah. This is C1SC. I love that. Your eyes look like a lymphatic issue to me. Hard to really see here. Can't see which eye this one particularly is. But, oh man, today I sinned. I have to laugh. No offense, but that's what happens to me every once in a while. And don't beat yourself up, my friend. This is the natural life. And if you have people out there that are Puritans that tell you they never sneak or they never do something, you have to ask yourself, there are those that maintain that for a while. I was bitterly strict. My parents didn't even like me because I was so strict. And but it was essential to be that strict. But don't beat yourself up. What a pizza does to you. Matter of fact, I always thought the pizza is one of the worst foods on the planet. It encompasses all the bad no-nos. You got white flour, and you can get whole wheat. You're still an acid flour, but white flour is a rule. Excuse me. So then you got the cooked tomato sauce. That's another big acid. And then you got cheese, melted cheese, I mean, I can't think of anything. That's if you get a vegetarian pizza. And if you get the meat pizzas, you got all that on there. The bad food combinations. I mean, I really, I look at that and that's probably the king of the no-nos. But, you got a good understanding. And thanks, we miss and love you guys. You kind of got I'm sorry for your pain there, but it sounded like you got a little butt kicking, but it was on the head instead of the butt. Wow. It's amazing. When you really look back on this and you look at the average human, it's like, how does the human body endure such a horrific omnivoric diet? This is not even a true omnivoric diet. We got stuff out there that's not even food that we're eating. So we've got quite a horrid diet, highly acidic, highly corrosive, chemistry in there that's just ungodly, and yet the human body can endure through this. It's amazing. Not in a well state, mind you, but there's a lot of people that eat junk that doesn't feel it. The adaptiveness of the human body to its surroundings is amazing to me, and the adaptation of the human body to the diet. But you take someone like that and introduce those cells to a raw food diet, a higher level, they're going to have the same butt kicking coming. Where they thought they were getting away with it, they weren't. And that's the problem. When we think we're getting away with it, we're not. I've learned that so much over the years, and it's just, But it's time on the rock. And you don't overbeat yourself up. Don't you lose your joy for that. You just have to laugh at it. Makes for a good conversation around a campfire, don't it? Hey, I had a pizza once and it really kicked my head. It makes for good conversation. Here's Lucky Mayan. One last thing, please talk about, oh yeah, I did that earlier. Good deal. Yeah, I read this one earlier. I think that in pregnancy, a raw food diet is, basically what all the other animals do. And a little superfood blend, again, as I talked about this morning, and cats meow. The problem is what's already present in the human body and present genetically in the cells. That's where the problem is. You can change your diet to a raw food diet, but that doesn't mean that magically you're well or that you're walking toward Wellville. But it could take you a while to get down that gold road, paved with grape juice and lemon juice. It's a gold road. I think I need some herbs and fruit. This is Lady Love. You guys. 204059. Hell of an address. I tried posting on your comment page, but of course it was too long and disappeared in front of my eyes. Sending you this email as my last desperate attempt to get better instead of going to the Mayo Clinic. Oh, yuck. I wish I could fly down to Florida. Well, you don't need to fly down, honey. I'll talk with you. I've never really taken herbs, but I have done the Blessed Herbs colon cleanse in the past. Oh, that's good. I also ate a raw diet for over 2 years after being sick before. Well, that's good. So you've broken into the ice there. I guess I thought I was better for good when I decided eating raw was complicated and time-consuming and went back to eating junk only. What made you decide that? To end up in worse shape than before? Well, it was just in your face that you were starting to walk down the right road here, and you just kind of got, waylaid. Well, it's just a good lesson for you. I guess I thought it was, eating a complicated, I really hate medical doctors because I've been treated like a hypochondriac and liar because of all the crazy different symptoms I have at different times. I know that's some of the things that is kind of one of the things I never really cared about all the past is, one, if they can't answer it, you're going to piss them off, and mostly they can't answer it, so that's a problem. You're the best if you just keep your mouth shut and do what they tell you. Now, I never was good at that. I did 2 years with the Air Force, and I never, I was lucky. I was in engineering. Whoops, kicked you guys, sorry. It was in engineering, so I wasn't so bad, but... I never did take someone like that. My blood work is always good. That's because your problem is in the lymph system. See what I'm talking about? But I'd like to see your blood work maybe, honey. Little something close. X-ray's good. So I'm just crazy. Well, you can't see acids in blood work. I mean, in X-rays, that's for sure. Until the mass is so hard that it gives you enough solidification to bounce those rays back to them. I did have a positive ANA, but that led nowhere. Finally, after breaking down on the orthopedic doctor over my spine pain, he did MRIs. The result from my brain MRI said different differential diagnosis, demyelinating disease and microvascular disease. Well, you know, the average person can say that, to be honest with you. The average person can say both of these things. You're losing your neurotransmitters, you're losing your myelin sheaths. That's all, all part of being highly acidic, especially not moving out of the head area and the sinuses like you should. So you're going back to the colon. You're going to work on your GI tract. You're going to hit the kidneys and adrenals to start moving your lymph and get your brain to drain. If you get into a real good cold and flu-like symptom, God bless and honk on with it. Really need to drain the brain, literally speaking, lymphatically. You really start moving these acids out of there. And picking up brain function, cell function, and then that'll rebuild. The myelin sheaths will rebuild, everybody will rebuild, and you'll be okay there. The results from my brain, let me see. The ortho said I had teeny strokes in my brain and sent me to neural, who said maybe I have MS and wants to do a spinal tap. Well, you know, when you start hurting the body more, it just doesn't make sense. This already tells the story for you. You don't need to have full-fledged brain lesions and everything else. You just know your lymph isn't moving and you're breaking down your cells, be it neural, be it whatever. It doesn't matter. And that's what's going on here. And this is all about your lymph system and moving your lymph system, sweetheart. So you really want to take this on here. That's why I like putting up testimonials. And when I feel that it's appropriate and I get more people willing to go up, and by all means we'll plaster the site with them, but we want to be safe. I don't want to do that test, but I feel horrible all the time. I have a terrible acid problem. Well, more than you realize, sweetheart, and it burns my face and my throat. Absolutely, sweetie. You've got to get into your colon and clean that up, get your kidneys up and your adrenals up, and get drained. This is essential. You got to do it. You're probably going to be the one where you're going to have to do some fruit fasts, some grape fasts and stuff, and really open up these doors, because you don't sound like you want to wait around too long. I understand why the urgency here. My upper spine hurts just to touch it at times, man, you poor thing. And my chest and ribs around the sternum are tender and hurt worse than when I eat. Well, you're just so acid and inflamed. You hit it right on the head. So you really got to move this lymph system out of there. Like I said, it's easier said than done, but you've seen the protocols that we recommend. But again, I'd go to stomach and bowel number, whatever you need. I would go to lymphatic 1 capsules three times a day. That'll take after the GI tract. Use the GI broom if you have to. Want to see mucus in the stools? You want to pick up on kidney 1 capsules, kidney 1 liquid. Adrenals, anything adrenals, the endocrine glands, and another liquid lymph node 2, real strong one, and start moving that lymph the best you can, and hope to heck you have a good cold and flu-like symptom, or go find someone that's sick and start hugging on them. Maybe you're lucky that your body will trip itself into a detox. I'd probably candle the ears, 2 or 3 candles per ear, and just try to break some of that loose on you. Sometimes I feel sick when I eat or drink anything. Like the body wants to shut down. Well, it does. It wants to fast, and it can shut down on you. But that's just you're just burning yourself up. You're frying like a piece of chicken in a pan here. Exhausted. My eyelids feel heavy, like they need to close, but not the same as when I need sleep. Sometimes I have problems swallowing, like it goes to the wrong pipe. Well, I take that new brain and nerve formula we just put out. I think it's better than the old one. Some people swear by the old one, so okay. But I really, either one of them, get on the brain and nerve formula, kick that up, kick your endocrine glands up, start moving that lymph, and you'll get yourself out of this. But sounds like you really got a lot of stagnant lymph problems. Make sure you're not cold. If you're too cold, you know, the head area, the pituitary can go down here, taking everybody else down with it. So make sure your endos are up. If not, pop some glandulars, I have to say, to get your endos up before you start having more serious problems. I need to cough something up, or like a hard asthma cough. Growing up until my 20s, I was allergic to the cold. Then it went away, but last week my hands were cold and broke out in itchy hives. Yeah, your lymph system's backed up. My guess is you're having a hypo shutdown also of the endocrine glands. Just, suppressing their function a little bit. That would make sense with the head and the pituitary area again. But go after those. There's a thyrocomplex. That's got a little thyroid, pituitary, and adrenal in it. See if that's sufficient. Just to perk them up a little bit while you're honking on. Lymph system's clogged up, but I'm having problems eating anything. Well, you're in trouble. That's why I've been saying that this is a systemic problem. Never is in one place. It's in multiple places. That's because the lymph system is everywhere. So you can see what you're up against here. I really don't know how I do it at times. Yeah, I understand. Well, you're a strong woman, Jeannie, and you hang in there and you get focused in the right direction here. This is for you, and you get yourself focused. A lot of watermelons coming through to me. Melons, cool yourself down. Do some berries. Do the grapes, apples, pears, things like that. I wonder sometimes if I have cancer. Don't worry about it. Bad word. Word just means you have damaged cells. Yeah, you have damaged cells. All right, repair them and rebuild them. Don't sit there and take that. Don't let the mind carry you away into the fear world. You get strong, Jeannie. You're going to come out of this and get yourself out of this, okay? I really don't know how I do it. There you go. I'm 42. I have two girls, 8 and 23. Well, think about them as well, because they're going to have your genes. And if they have your lymph system, it's just a matter of time. And I work as a cocktail waitress in Las Vegas. My job looks glamorous, but it's it's hard work. I'm aware of that. My sister did that. Very aware of it. Yes, it is hard work. Walking for 8 hours, God. Carrying heavy trays, God. I don't know how you guys do that. I don't. I thought I might have a hernia because I have pain in the sternum xiphoid area, but after endoscopy, he said just a lot of inflammation. Hello. There you go. No GERD, acid, just inflamed. This is because this is just your lymph system sitting there burning on you. You're not moving your lymph system well at all. And you're constantly in activity as a waitress, which I'll be honest with you, you're not going to like this, but that's not what I'd be recommending. I'd be recommending rest, more of a desk job or something for a while, and get out in the sun when you can, because all this activity is just making you worse. And that has been my point all along here, that you'll see when you're not filtering and you're in activity, excessive activity, all this lactic acid and all these acids that you're kicking up and you're not moving out makes you just work worse and worse and worse and worse. And so it's a time for everything, just common sense and wisdom. Animals fast when they're sick. They don't go out and tear it up. And that's really what you've got to do, the same type of thing. Your body's telling you to rest, or it's going to shut you down and make you rest. I mean, that's the problem with not listening. And I'm talking about myself too, so, but that's a butt kicking we can get. And so if you're not careful, your body will put you down and make you rest. So you want to be ahead of your body and try to find some rest. You're not in the best of jobs for your problem. You're always creating a lot of activity with very little filtration of the lymph, and their symptoms bear that out quite readily. So you're a good case to show the YouTube healers here, just that what I'm saying about activity. We have a lot of concepts out there that really don't hold any common sense water when you look at it both from physiology of the adrenals, remember the epinephrines versus the dopamines, and then, of course, with what you see in fasting in animals, that sort of thing. Please, I need something so that I can eat without pain or juice. Well, Jeannie, get with that, honey. Now remember, you can call in here, talk to Jennifer or someone. But definitely, you've got to move lymph. And the trouble is, you're in a very active and demanding job that creates a lot of acid. So you really got to make sure you stay raw. And then you might have a little adrenal bump without the proteins and stuff, because it could make you more tired in a job like this. But with that said, you'd be a case where you don't want to do any protein whatsoever. I'll show you this. Spend you about 3 weeks off of all proteins, even nuts and everything, and then go have some. I think you'll become quite aware, like the pizza guy in the head. Hi, Dr. Morris, referred by Dan McDonald. I am helping my husband in his journey of healing with ulcerative colitis. Oh, back to the colon again. You know, you see so much of this. Of course, you know colon cancer was #1, but you're seeing this all over the place, systemic inflammation or acidosis, and it's all the lymph system again. So the same thing as we talked earlier about Crohn's would be the same thing for your husband there. Same very thing. Sound like a broken record? I hope so, because really, if you get this, then the challenge is your self-discipline to ride the ride. The knowledge part of this is really, I think, essential to help you to put your feet on the right path. But then, by all means, challenge your self-discipline. You're going to be doing it. You're not going to always be perfect. Every once in a while, you're going to have a piece of pizza. All right, you go on and forget it and go on, enjoy every minute of it and forget it and go on. We used to tell that to each other. Make sure you enjoy that cheat. I never enjoyed a cheat. I always beat myself up for doing it, and of course, it made the cheat even worse, because I'm really hard on myself if I don't follow through and don't keep with the direction that I'm focused. And then as I got older, younger, I just learned to not care so much. Matter of fact, if you want the God state, you can't care at all, even about the health of yourself. Amazing, isn't it? To avoid removing his colon, as advised by his gastroenterologist, of course, he has changed his diet, eliminating meat, dairy, fried. That's the best thing your husband has done so far toward this. Good job. Good job. It's been a plant-based diet, vegan diet for about 2 months so far. He has stopped taking all medication and has seen improvement in his stool formation, more form to loose stool formation. However, he struggles with severe urgency, oftentimes resulting in accidents. Well, highly inflamed, highly spastic. And when you're that acidic, and of course you're going to lose calcium, and you're going to see that whole scenario we've been talking about, then you're going to see the spasticity, which is what that is. But you got to keep unwinding this clock. You got to keep unwinding this and get back to a sense of wellness and get the tissue fixed up, even if the urgency is still there. Keep working that out. Prostate does the same thing to urination. Bladder swollen, all these have the same effect in different areas, but it's just getting these restored back to a state of health. And of course, that takes you to what causes the unhealthiness, if you will, of tissue, or the decay of the function of cells, etc., which takes you right back again to the lymph and acids and the broken record. The high fruit diet leads to an increase in his urgency. Well, a lot of water there. You might step down to the vegetables for a while, even though I want to really get into that lymph system and the bowel wall. I definitely use the stomach and bowel #1 on that case. That's a case where you don't want to give this gentleman anything to move him. You would not want to use the GI broom on him either. I would use toxin absorber. That was from Blessed Herbs. There's no movement power in there. I'm going to come out one. I just leave the movement power out of it and make it a lot stronger than the toxin absorber. But not only do we want toxin absorption, we want some astringents and some antacids like slippery elm and marshmallow, very healing to the mucosa. We also want some drawing power like from plantain and some lymphatic herbs. You know, you can make a nice formula with those, and that's what those stomach and bowel formulas are. If you look at the herbs, they're little hodgepodges of anti-inflammatories, healers to the mucosa, drawers, pullers, you know, that sort of thing. And then just each one has a little movement power except number one, which is when someone's moving quite well, you don't want to give them anything but number one. You can do Heal All capsules, very healing to the mucosa. Again, similar herbs, but very healing to the mucosa. You can do the fresh aloe or just buy it, I guess, but I like fresh. I have aloe everywhere at my place. I love that plant. A very versatile plant, as is most plants. Not to be mean to you plants in any way, but you know, you all are good in your own rights. What we know, this is the diet of health. The added fiber exacerbates your symptoms. Yeah, I think you might have to go to more of a steamed vegetables, do the green drinks, stay with the subacid category and the sweet fruits, kind of find your balance in that area. Keep your vegetables away from your fruit so you don't get putrefaction and bloating and things from that. And just keep using the herbs to find the remedy. And that's why you're going to find the herbs are little blessings, you know. Really good stuff there. My thoughts concerning this condition is just as laid forth. This is a lymphatic concern. Again, the only other way you're going to burn down there, that far down, is to have really little bicarbonate in the pancreas and basically be a staunch protein eater, to where you're not neutralizing the hydrochloric acid and pepsin, therefore it's burning all the way out. I would also say that any soda pop during something like that would burn all the way out. So, but generally these ulcerated conditions and things are actually coming from the inside out. That's the problem. Although you can have a hydrochloric acid burn on the tissues, but I don't think that a lot of attention has been placed from the inside out, and that's where the lymph system is. It literally like Crohn's burned through the wall. And so it wouldn't matter, because remedy for both requires exactly the same thing we're talking about right now. Is going to that. Anything that's irritative, like too much vegetable cellulose, I agree, difficult for humans, especially in highly inflamed areas. So do some steamed vegetables, do your green drinks, take that fiber out of there, but do that subacid fruits, which is your grapes and your apples and your pears, and at the same time do your melons. Maybe get by with, I don't know, I'd probably even leave the berries off until you got this taken down a little bit, but move those lymphs. I can tell you that's that's your sure way. And then topically, going through the canal, you can use the different herbs, but you want to have them in a capsule form when you're going topically, basically through that bowel cylinder, and can get some healing done on that. You could do some implants from the rectum if you would like, and I would probably do the Heal All tea and or stomach and bowel formula like number one, and do some implants, get some herbs on that bowel wall to do some healing from the outside in, figuratively speaking, of course, or basically that's about what it is. I wanted to thank you for your, oh, thanks. I'm a loyal subscriber. TMA, it's to make up G. That's me. You! We purchased the Detox the Source Book. Good. Tina, my dear makeup artist. I like that, Tina. Yeah, those are the things you got to do. Pull your old man out of that. Or, I mean, your young man out of that. And you'll do that. He's 30. He's only 30 years old. But you see, guys, my point is, 30-year-old, you're seeing it in the teens. I just had a 12-year-old Crohn's. Look at what we're up against, guys. Look at what we're up against. So it takes a good team like all of you guys. I applaud you. I'm going to have to cut here in a minute. But I think we've had a good day. We've been able to go through some of these, and I'll try to catch up this week with this pile. You don't want to see the one on the floor. Excuse me, I'm Miss Ross Sweden. Hi, dear one. Awesome vids. Oh, thank you. I cannot stop watching them. Thank you, Miss Ross Sweden. Love you, dear. Thank you very much. We're going to try to kick it up here. I know these probably get a little on the boring side, but you know, when you go over conditions, I'm going to always refer to the lymph system because that's what you see all through you. And it's going to sound like a broken record to some of you, I know. But, you know, a lot of you are getting it real quick. And there's nothing to be said about it. That's the simplicity of the whole thing. In time, we'll move more to a spiritual side and get a little deeper into that side of it. But I think it's, I'm trying to bring you along both sides. I'm trying to cover it all in one. For those that don't care much about the spiritual side, please don't be offended. Just go ahead and get what you need out of the health side of this, and you know, get what you need out of there. It's a time for people to awaken and grow. Boy, I like this picture. SRKREY. That's, what is that? Is that a UFO? Kind of a one world merging into another world, merging into another world? Ah, you're a Fringe watcher. That's pretty interesting, the last Fringe, where you had the guy with the two heads, where this guy set these two worlds to merge together. That's pretty interesting. Mango Mark. Hey, man, haven't talked with you in a while. How you doing, Mango Mark? Got leg cleaned up good? Food combining question. What is the scientific explanation of why you never combine protein foods with starches? I'm speaking for more of the meat and potato people. Well, Mark, basically the thought is that, of course, a complex protein structure is going to require some hydrochloric acid and pepsin to rip that baby apart. When you combine that with a starch, remember in a starch you start digesting in your mouth. If you notice, a dog pretty much swallows his food. There's not a lot of digestive enzyme action in the mouth, particularly for acid foods. Minor carbohydrates for them. So they basically swallow their food because there's really no digestion until it hits the stomach. And that, of course, then is going to be your hydrochloric acid and pepsin for the proteins to break them down into the peptide chains and then down into the amino acids. So when you hit an acid with a base, all your starches, they're a much easier, simplistic complex to break down, simple amino acid chains, more like where our body deals with. Then you don't have to have the acid hit like you would with a protein structure. So mixing a base and an acid neutralizes each other. And then, of course, you're going to have your food just feel like it's sitting there and sitting there and sitting there, and you're going to get some gas from that because you're getting basically alcohol. And, of course, fermentation, which fungus just loves that. So that makes fungus happy and brings more in probably. So you just have that whole whirlwind of things. The other one basically, of course, is going to be your fast digesting on top of your slow. You never mix a fast digesting food like a fruit with a vegetable because you're going to get fermentation. Those sugars are going to want to go on down. Fructose, a much finer, superior, much more active sugar, and still a simple sugar. Love it, fructose. Grape sugar, as we used to call it in the old days, grape sugar. Oh. SRK, thank you. You're awesome, too. You got an awesome picture here, too. Thank you so much. Week 4, day 5. This is C1, SC, Ohm. I'm going to call you simply Ohm. I like that. Hello, guys. Good news, at least for me. The almost 10 pounds I lost was fat. Now I don't feel so bad. A friend of mine measured me, the fat and stuff, and he told me that whatever I was doing converted me into a fat-burning machine. Yeah, baby. I just told him that I'm just eating fruits and veggies and eating 6 times a day. He also helped me to count the amount of calories in his new diet, and I'm getting as much as I needed. Well, no kidding. Plus, you're getting the magnetics and the chemistry. Don't forget those 2 little things. On Monday, I will start a 10-day workout program. You guys are kicking butt. If I do it all right, I will be in shape for this summer. But till then, I learned to make almond milk. Awesome. You guys are a bunch of awesome people. Yeah, I just don't have enough time to do all of it, to show you how to make all of it and be involved in it. I'm kind of one of those lazy guys. You know, I don't even sprout anymore. I just like to cut and eat. You know, I like very simple living. I really do. This idea of massive food prep. Look at Jennifer. She spends hundreds of dollars, brings in this beautiful dehydrated and raw food meals for everybody, and I can't even eat them. Just two combinations that I like simplicity. My body likes simplicity, and some of this prepared raw food stuff is a little out there for me. Just can't deal with all of that myself. Thank you for responding to my eye issues. Oh, you're welcome, my friend. I'll get working on it. It's difficult for me to afford your herbs. Well, see what $33 per bottle is somewhat of a burden on my wallet. Is that with the customs and stuff? That would have to be with customs because we only sell our bottles at $24 a bottle. So that would have to be with the price of customs and stuff. It's too bad we don't have a free world like that. But I will start with the upper circ and perhaps the antispasmodic. Also, I will continue on the fruit and berries. These help a lot. I have anxiety, depression issues. Yeah. Get your endocrine glands back online there. Clean the body up of the fungus and stuff. $33. That sounds like Canada kind of prices or something. Well, we have to go through customs. We have to, honor every country in the way they do things. But I think it's kind of sad that they have to stick to people. Some of these countries, no offense to our brothers in Canada, but man, they about rape you guys when it comes to that. It's just horrible trying to get herbs up there. But I remember I've been into Canada many times, and I always thought the prices up there were sky high. But maybe that's just proportionate. I can't make a judgment on that, but it just seemed to me, wow, these prices are quite high. So I don't know. I don't know. You are changing people's lives every day. Oh, you are truly. Oh, thanks a lot. This is 099087662. Well, love to you, my dears. Thank you very much for that comment. They're all appreciated, guys. Let me tell you. I'm like a love sponge. Did you see my little Coco this morning? If you see these Shih Tzus are very hyperthyroid dogs in their own way. He's a stout little thing, and he likes to always check things out. He's like a curious soul on the planet for the first time. Oh, let's check over here. Oh, let's check over here. Oh, this is exciting. What's down this road? That's the problem. If he takes off, you can't hardly catch him. Now, he's starting to listen, but it's taken him 6 years. But looks like Wookiee. He's had a haircut, so he doesn't look like a Wookiee too much, but boy, he looks like a Wookiee here. Hi, Doc. Now, I was wondering, since you were talking about the different pros for lemon, grape, and other fasting in previous vids, would a grape juice with lemons or just grape fast be stronger? Oh, absolutely. A lot of people have mixed the grape with the lemons and gotten some good butt kicking work done on them. I remember that model I told you about. No more lung and bone cancer after 43 days. I kind of blew me away. Be quite frank, because I've never seen it quite like that. I had a young lady in France, probably been 30 years ago. I had her lymphoma gone in 45 days. But now let me back that up and say that she had been able to clean her lymph system out and got rid of the tumor within 45 days. Does that sound better? I mean, that's the sort of problem we run into, is just having a decent conversation. You have to trip over the words. It's just disgusting how things have become in that way. But I don't want to use the word cure. Isn't that eliminate? Is that what you were saying? No, I'm very aware of that. I'm just one of those bold son of a guns that's just had it. I've just had it. It's like the line in the sand. Well, it's been crossed, and so, but not my world, and yet it is totally my world. Is that ironic? All right, M. Carbone 4. Hi, sweetheart. Best remedy for external hemorrhoids. Take a rubber band, tie around them. We gotta go. 5 minutes. Well, I better cut off now because I got to write all this up. Yeah, okay. So this will be quick. Thank God I have someone out there keeping me into the zone. Tie a rubber band around them and wait till they squeeze off. No, but some people have thought about that, maybe even done it. I think some medically they used to tie them off and like they do you know what with you know who, bulls and things like that, use lower circulation. I would make sure my parathyroid is up. All your fruits and berries are going to tone the vascular walls. Make sure my parathyroid is up, so calcium utilization, because generally when you see hemorrhoids, you see other connective tissue problems. At the same time, we have a good formula here for hemorrhoids, not mine, but it's got some goodies in it, but anything like that. But the diet is key. The lymphatic herbs are key. Lower circulation, again, is a good formula. Prolapsed organs, even the bones formula, very good for strengthening tissue. Anything that strengthens tissue. But again, lower circulation, keeping your fruits and berries and things like that. I remember I had them growing up so bad because all the milk made me extreme on the constipation list. I don't even remember about bowel movements. They were always giving me enema, so I was a male and didn't think in those terms. But when I started raw, I got them back with a vengeance, like nobody's business. But then, as my body discharged that weakness and got all those acids out of those tissues, then I've never had them again. That's been 40 years ago, maybe, or more, 45 years. Topical and internal to take. Well, you could do the healing salve, my healing salve. You could do that internally, or do a comfrey salve and get that up in there and do that. I told you before I wanted to make suppositories for this sort of thing, so I'm hooking up with. Finally found me a good herb person, so to make my stuff, and so I wanted to make some suppositories and stuff like that for me, because we do need that topically in that way, and also for vaginal issues as well, atypical cells and stuff. We liked that as well. But asked me if there was something she could do to shrink them and heal them without going under the knife. Absolutely. Oh, heck yeah. Are you kidding? I mentioned maybe Heal All Tea. That might help. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. And keep going down that. Detoxify, get the kidneys, move the lymph, all of that. And they'll clean them right up. So we have things to help you to strengthen it up, bones and stuff. There's a hemorrhoid formula here, but absolutely. Well, I got to run. I got a client here. It's a few minutes to 4, and I've got to write all this up so Chris can get it up for you. And I think he's about to get the other side up, although I filmed, 2.5, 3 hours, excuse me, this morning. And so we got another 45 minutes in here. So hopefully we'll get all your questions. And now we're on the road again. Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Passing speed.